Have you ever thought about the way society views women? Or how women are often expected to juggle multiple roles throughout their lives? It's a topic we often talk about in passing, but today we're going to take a deeper look at the realities that many women face, especially as they get older. As we age, life often brings new perspectives and challenges. Maybe you've noticed how the world has changed around you, or how certain aspects of life have become more difficult or complicated. For many women, those changes come with unique pressures and expectations. But the truth is, the harsh reality about women, particularly as they get older, isn't something that's often discussed openly. When talking about women, we can't ignore the perspective of men. How do men perceive women? Are there expectations or pressures that men unintentionally place on women, which sometimes women themselves don't even realize? First of all, it must be said that, although the world is increasingly changing and views on gender are progressing, many men still have traditional views on the roles of women in family and society. In the eyes of many men, women are still seen as the caregivers of the family, the ones who keep the home together and the strong support behind everything. This often leads to an expectation that women must always be perfect, take care of everything around them, but are not supposed to express their own personal needs. However, in recent years, it is clear that many men have recognized the important and independent roles of women. They no longer just see women as mothers or wives, but as partners in work, companions in life, and individuals with their own value. In fact, men today are becoming more aware of the need to share housework, care for the family, and create more equal relationships. That said, not all views of men on women are positive or healthy. Another issue is the expectation placed on women's appearance. We can't deny that many men are still influenced by societal beauty standards. Sometimes, men unknowingly set unrealistic expectations for their wives or girlfriends, expecting them to always look beautiful, always be fresh, and never seem tired. This can create significant pressure on women, especially when they are dealing with bodily and mental changes over time. The good news is that today, many men are beginning to see women in a more positive and progressive light. They realize that women are not only beautiful for their outward appearance, but also for their intellect, strength, and boundless ability to love. This change in men's views not only helps women feel more confident, but also contributes to changing society's perception of women's roles in every field. However, no matter what, it is important for every woman to recognize her own value. A man's perspective is just one part, and in the end, you must be the one to define your own worth and life. Don't let external expectations overshadow what's truly important to you. We can't change the entire world or everyone's views, but we can change how we perceive and treat ourselves. Together, let's build a community where both men and women are free to live true to themselves, not bound by outdated perspectives or expectations. In this video, we're going to dive into some of those truths, things that are often left unsaid or ignored. It's important because, as we get older, it's essential to understand these challenges, not just for women, but for everyone. These are the things we need to acknowledge if we want to make life better, fairer, and more fulfilling for ourselves and for others. Now let's talk about some of the uncomfortable truths that affect women and their journey through life. The first thing we need to understand is that women are often burdened with emotional labor, sometimes without even realizing it. Emotional labor isn't just about being kind or considerate. It's the constant mental work involved in managing everyone else's emotions. Think about how often you've been the one to remember someone's birthday, or to call a relative, to check on them, or to make sure everyone in your life is happy and content. It's exhausting, isn't it? Women are often socialized to take on these emotional responsibilities, and it doesn't stop just because you get older. In fact, as we age, we might find ourselves doing even more, especially if we have family to care for or friends who rely on us. But here's the thing, emotional labor is real, and it's draining. It can wear us down without us even noticing. So many women continue carrying that emotional weight, trying to take care of everyone else, often at the cost of their own well-being. It's a silent burden, but one that affects how we live and how we feel. If you're a woman watching this, I'm sure you can relate. And for those of you who know a woman in your life, whether it's a partner, a daughter, a sister, or a friend, consider how much emotional energy they give to others without always getting the same in return. And here's another reality that's often ignored: the idea of aging. Society tends to treat aging as something negative, especially for women. There's this constant pressure to look a certain way, to maintain a youthful appearance, and to meet unrealistic standards of beauty. Women are bombarded with advertisements, media, and even family members who remind them of the ideal image they should strive for. The truth is, as we age, our bodies change, and that's perfectly normal. But for women, it can be harder to accept those changes because of the societal pressures to remain youthful and attractive at all costs. It's like there's an unspoken rule that if you're not young, you're not valuable. But let's be real. Aging is a beautiful process. It comes with wisdom, experience, and yes, even grace. Embracing the changes that come with age is a powerful thing, and it's something that should be celebrated, not feared or hidden. It's important, too, recognize that while society might push women to meet certain physical standards, the real beauty lies in the ability to accept ourselves as we are. As women age, they often become more comfortable in their own skin, learning to love themselves and their bodies for what they've been through. And that's a journey worth celebrating. But we must also acknowledge the external pressures that can make this process much harder. So let's reflect for a moment. How many of us have spent time worrying about how we look as we age? How often do we feel pressured to keep up with the younger generation or maintain a certain image? It's something that affects all women to varying degrees, and it's not something we should brush aside. Now that we've touched on the emotional labor women carry and the pressure to maintain a certain image, let's dive into the next part of this conversation. Stay tuned as we explore how the expectations around women's roles, both inside and outside the home, shape their lives as they grow older. So far, we've talked about how women often carry the silent burden of emotional labor and the societal pressures tied to aging and appearance. But there's another aspect of the harsh truth about women that needs to be addressed: the overwhelming expectations placed on women's roles, particularly in the family and society. For many women, these expectations don't necessarily come with a clear set of instructions. They're just there. It's expected that women will be the caregivers, the homemakers, the ones who make sure everything runs smoothly. Think about the countless times women are called upon to take care of the household, whether it's cooking, cleaning, or managing the daily responsibilities that go unnoticed. These tasks might seem simple, but they can add up and create a sense of constant pressure. Even in older age, women are often expected to continue fulfilling these roles, even when they might feel tired, unappreciated, or overwhelmed. And let's be honest, this isn't just about cleaning the house or cooking dinner. It's about the invisible work that goes on behind the scenes, ensuring the family's emotional health, keeping track of everyone's appointments, handling finances, and sometimes even being the peacekeeper during family disputes. This pressure can weigh heavily, especially if you've spent most of your life fulfilling these roles without much recognition or help. As we get older, the toll it takes becomes more apparent, but society doesn't always acknowledge this shift. Instead, women are often expected to continue managing these responsibilities, even when they may not have the energy or desire to do so. Here's the thing: this type of caregiving work is essential, no doubt, but it shouldn't come at the expense of a woman's health or happiness. Women often feel as if they have to choose between taking care of themselves and taking care of others, and that can create an ongoing sense of guilt. You might have heard phrases like, "put yourself first," or "you can't pour from an empty cup." But how often do we actually practice that? For many women, it's easier said than done. One of the tough realities is that women are frequently asked to put others' needs ahead of their own, and they do it willingly, even at the cost of their own well-being. It's part of the cultural conditioning women experience. But let's pause for a second and think, what would it look like if women didn't feel so burdened by this? What if women were encouraged to take care of themselves without guilt, to set boundaries without fear of judgment? Imagine how much more fulfilled and content women would feel, not just for themselves, but for those around them too. Now, let's take a moment to talk about a more personal challenge many women face as they get older. The physical changes that come with aging, and how these changes are often misunderstood or underestimated. As a woman ages, she experiences a shift in how she feels physically. This can include things like joint pain, weight gain, changes in metabolism, and for some, conditions like osteoporosis. These changes are part of life, but they don't always get the attention they deserve. For women, there's often a sense that these changes should be hidden or dealt with in silence. Many women feel pressured to keep up appearances and maintain their usual level of energy and activity, even when their bodies might be telling them something different. This internal struggle is something that's rarely talked about. Women may hesitate to ask for help or admit that they're struggling because they fear being seen as weak or incapable. There's this persistent notion that women, especially older women, should just keep going, no matter how difficult things become. But here's the thing. Aging doesn't mean a loss of strength. It simply means that women need to listen to their bodies more closely and embrace a new kind of strength, one that's less about pushing through discomfort and more about understanding and respecting the body's needs. It's okay to take a break, to ask for assistance, and to focus on self-care. This brings us to another important truth: the need for women to prioritize their health, both physically and mentally. So many women are conditioned to put their health on the back burner while taking care of everyone else. As we age, it's crucial to recognize that self-care isn't selfish. It's essential. Taking care of your health allows you to take care of others better, and it's time that women embrace that reality. This idea ties into the greater narrative about women's emotional and physical well-being. In older age, women may face challenges like chronic health conditions or mental health struggles, but too often, these issues are overlooked or downplayed. The key to navigating this stage of life is not to ignore these challenges, but to face them head-on with self-compassion and support. Women deserve the same care and attention they give to others. The path to wellness isn't about being perfect or enduring everything on your own. It's about making choices that align with your personal well-being. So, what does all this mean for women as they get older? It means that while there are certain expectations and challenges that come with aging, there's also an opportunity for growth, change, and acceptance. It means that embracing who you are, not just for the roles you fulfill, but for the unique individual you are, is the first step in taking control of your life and health. And that brings us to our next topic: how women can take back control and rewrite the narrative of their lives as they age. The harsh truth is that society often dictates the rules, but it's up to women to break free from those expectations and live life on their own terms. In the next section, we'll talk about how women can start to make changes that reflect their true needs and desires, no matter their age. So far, we've explored some difficult truths about the expectations placed on women and the emotional, physical, and societal burdens that often come with growing older. But here's the good news. There's so much power in taking control of your own story, regardless of age. It's about reclaiming your life and making choices that truly serve your well-being. Let's talk about how women can start rewriting the narrative of their lives, shifting from feeling burdened by expectations to embracing the freedom of being who they truly are. It all begins with the idea that it's never too late to make changes. This is a mindset that's incredibly empowering, and it's the key to thriving in later years. It doesn't matter what stage of life you're in, it's always possible to create a life that's more fulfilling, healthier, and in alignment with who you want to be. One of the most important things women can do is start setting boundaries. Now, this might sound simple, but it's something that many women struggle with, especially when it comes to family or friends. If you've spent a lifetime taking care of everyone else, setting boundaries can feel foreign. But here's the truth. Boundaries are essential. They're not selfish. They're necessary for maintaining your own mental and physical health. By setting boundaries, women can reclaim their time and energy. It's okay to say no. It's okay to not be available for every phone call, to not attend every family gathering, or to not take on every responsibility. Setting healthy boundaries allows you to protect your time and resources, giving you the space you need to focus on your own health and happiness. And guess what? People will respect you more for it, because they'll see that you value yourself, and in turn, they'll learn to value you too. But here's another harsh truth. Women are often conditioned to feel guilty when they prioritize themselves. This guilt is deeply ingrained, and it can make it hard to feel comfortable in taking time for yourself. But over time, we've learned that the best way to care for others is to first care for ourselves. Think about it. When you're rested, happy, and healthy, you have so much more to give. So, take that guilt and throw it out the window. You deserve to focus on yourself. And part of that self-focus means letting go of perfectionism. Perfection is an illusion, especially as we get older. We don't need to do everything perfectly. Life is messy, and that's okay. If you've spent a lot of time trying to meet impossible standards, whether in your career, your home life, or your personal appearance, it's time to release that pressure. Aging is about learning to embrace the beauty of imperfection and finding joy in the small, meaningful moments. Another part of reclaiming control is taking charge of your health. We talked earlier about how women often put their health on the back burner, but it's time to flip that narrative. Prioritizing your physical and mental health isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. In fact, small changes in diet, exercise, and mental health practices can have a huge impact on your overall well-being. It's about making consistent choices that align with your health goals, whether it's eating more nutritious food, getting regular exercise, or practicing mindfulness. 4. Many women, aging also brings a shift in priorities. Maybe you've spent your life focusing on others, but now it's time to focus on yourself. The things that once seemed important may not hold the same weight anymore. This can be incredibly freeing. As we age, we have the opportunity to let go of old pressures and create a life that's more aligned with our values and desires. Now let's talk about something that's often overlooked, the importance of community. As women age, sometimes there's a tendency to withdraw or isolate themselves. But social connections are essential. Having a network of friends, family, or even neighbors can make all the difference in your happiness and health. Whether it's sharing a cup of coffee with a friend, joining a local book club, or volunteering for a cause you care about, staying connected can help you feel a sense of belonging and purpose. Aging doesn't mean withdrawing from the world. It means embracing new opportunities for growth, connection, and joy. And you don't have to do it alone. Reaching out for support when you need it, whether it's emotional or practical, can provide the strength to face whatever life throws your way. Before we wrap up, let's revisit the key points we've discussed. Women often carry an invisible load of emotional labor, and they face societal pressures regarding appearance and age. On top of that, the expectations placed on them to be caregivers, homemakers, and everything to everyone can be overwhelming. But the truth is, none of this defines who you are as a person. You are so much more than what society expects. You have the power to set boundaries, to prioritize your health, and to embrace the changes that come with age. Remember, it's okay to let go of perfectionism and prioritize yourself. You deserve it. Age is just a number, and it's never too late to start living a life that reflects who you are and what you want. It's time to take control, to say no to what no longer serves you, and to say yes to the life you've always dreamed of. So, to all the women watching this, no matter your age, know that your story is still being written. You have the power to rewrite it any way you choose. Embrace the wisdom that comes with age, celebrate the beautiful changes, and live with intention. If you've enjoyed this video, I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more content like this. Here's to living your best life at any age, because the best is yet to come.